Hey y'all. So I am popping in for a quick moment to let you know that I'm going to be inserting a couple of clips here that I want you guys to watch and listen. And I'll be right back to recap why I played those clips and let's go.
I am 27, and just an FYI, I'm a Cancer. So, yes, I started off the video crying because I do that just for the fun of it, you know? But I have been thinking to myself, like, I've done everything that America told me to do. Like, in high school, I went to a nice high school. I did AP classes. I passed those exams. I got into college. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in finance. I freaking love it. But, and I even did like, I was a director of marketing for like SFA, which is like Student Finance Association. And I just did like a lot of things that I thought was required of me to leave college and get a good job and do better for myself, you know? Sorry. But it's like I'm 27. I graduated in 2020. So it's been 4 years since I've graduated. And I have not been able to land a job, and it's really bothering me. At first, I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'm just going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to sew clothes. But it's like, I like that as my hobby, you know? And the reason why I'm crying is because I have been applying to jobs and I'm just not getting them. And I'm not sure why. I even had an interview where the interview was an hour long. We were kikiing, having the time of our lives. And 3 hours later, I get an email that says that I didn't get the job. And I know that it's because the color of my skin, like, and I know that because of the dynamic of the office that I walked into. There was only one black person, and he was a black male, and he was in the corner of like, he was like by himself, you know, and everyone else was like intermingling. So I kind of knew, but I did not let that stop me because I'm used to being in white spaces or Hispanic spaces where it's just them and not necessarily other cultures or ethnicities. And I I just feel kind of I just feel really down, you know, like I feel really down because I want more for myself. Like I haven't had a car yet, and it's not just about me buying like material things. It's like I need money for my business to propel to where I want it to, you know? And it's just like I have all these talents. I dance, I know how to sew, I can make clothes from scratch, you know, like I know how to style. Outside of that, I'm great at finance. I love bookkeeping. I love general ledgers, you know, and it's like I'm not getting opportunities in any of these categories. Like, yes, people buy like items from me and stuff from me, but it's not enough for me to move out of the neighborhood that I live in. And I know it's going to be hard for me to get out of here because it's a generational thing. People around here smoke their sorrows away, and like I quit doing that because I want way better for myself. And like just walking around and seeing how dirty the neighborhood is, like I don't, and it's killing me because I'm doing all I can. Like I sew 24/7, you know, like I was putting my all into these outfits, and I just lost that zest, you know. And it could be my Saturn return, and that I just need to change directions. And you know, I know that God is aligning me, but it hurts that I can't indulge in things that I want to indulge in, but there's bad around me. Like that indulgence is here, but it's like the good things I don't have around me. Like, and I also don't have connections with people who know people that can help me get opportunities, because that's what life is about. And it's just, it's killing me slowly, you know, like it really is. And I don't mean to come on here and cry and stuff because like, boo-hoo, you know, boo-hoo you, there's people dying in other countries, you know, and even that just stresses me out. And I just feel so overwhelmed. Like I feel so overwhelmed that I want to do great for myself, and I have great attributes, but because the color of my skin or the way my hair is, or you know, like even the way I speak, like I'm pretty good at Spanish, I'm pretty good at Korean, you know, like I learned all these things to push myself forward, you know, like I can be in any space with any people of any culture. I respect all cultures, all backgrounds, you know. And it's like the fact that the color of my skin is landing me in this position just really, it just really breaks me. you know, because it's like, I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Oh, okay. It doesn't matter. You guys need to see this, but I don't want to come on here and fake it and just put outfits on. Like, it's just not in me anymore. And I don't want to result to being an exotic dancer. I don't want to result to low vibrational jobs, you know, and it's feeling like, not that that's something that I have to do, but you know, when you want better for yourself and these are the opportunities that are being presented to you, so you're like, should I take it? I'm not going to, because I know it's just the negative energies, the low vibration energies trying to get me there, especially since I'm in an area where I'm fighting against all the negativity. Like, I speak to people when I see them, whether you're pushing a cart, whether you're a prostitute, whether you are, you know, someone who doesn't speak English, you know, I'll learn your language and I'll speak to you in your language, you know, like I'm I have so much light in me and this place is just so dark.
This is the most humbled I've ever felt in my life. I'm literally holding resumes, a stack of them, so that I can go in person to places and say, are you guys hiring? It's honestly a little bit embarrassing because I'm literally applying for like minimum wage jobs, and some of them are being like, we're not hiring, and it's like, what? This is not what I expected. I graduated college with 2 degrees in communications and acting. I speak 3 languages. Oh, this sucks. Like, I just want to be a TikToker, if I'm being so for real with you. But I can't be delusional anymore. Like, I literally need to make money. So I'm just gonna keep trying. This is the most humble.
So you may be wondering, what do these clips have to do with astrology? Because that's the title of today's show. I happened to come across these clips. I wasn't looking for these clips. And when I came across these clips, I was like, oh, I gotta share these in today's episode. Because in today's episode, we talk about how there is a shift. Things are changing, always are breaking down. And for so long, we've been sold the American dream. Go to school, do things this way, and you're going to have the perfect life. And over and over and over again, we are being shown the truth that it doesn't always happen the way that we've been told. So I just wanted to put that out there because if someone is watching this or listening to this and they're feeling stuck in their life, and it doesn't just have to be a young person feeling stuck after graduating college, it could be anywhere in your life you're feeling stuck. Just know that, you know, sometimes the truth that we've been sold is maybe not the truth for us. And to be open to the conversation that's going to happen today around astrology. And astrology has been around long before this construct of what we think life is supposed to be. You know, it's time for us to start to reveal what the truth is for us. And there are going to be some major shifts within astrology, like now, happening like right now. And I think we all need to understand this and be aware of what's happening, you know, collectively within the universe. So we can also understand, like, how should we start to navigate with our truth. So let me not yap too long because today's episode is chock full. And yeah, let's get this show started. Today on the Becoming Unique podcast, I have a beautiful soul by the name of Audrye, and this name may seem very familiar because she was on a few episodes ago, and she is back. She is back. Her beautiful energy is back. Welcome, Audrye.
Thank you, Unique. I am so pleased to be here, and welcome to everybody who is watching and participating and listening. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. So you were such an amazing guest the last time you were here, you know, giving us so much knowledge on just so much stuff in life, along with talking about being a clairvoyant. But today you're here on a different topic, and the topic is astrology. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into astrology. But before we dig into that, I would love for you to let everyone know, who is Audrey today?
That is such a good question, because my life, like many others, is also in flux.
Mhm.
So who Audrey is today? Actually, Audrey is very pleased and happy today. So what am I? That's what you probably want to know. Well, how do we say what I am today? So I am a being of light in the midst of transformation and transition to a next level. Okay. Now, in case anyone thinks that because somebody is a clairvoyant or a spiritual person or a healer or any of that, life is always easy, I would love to say, yes, it's always easy. No, it can have its bumps along the road and its energies. Today, especially here, I'm focused on astrology, especially the next 2 months, and I want to keep these evergreen. So let's just say the first 2 months of 2024, January and February, because so very much is happening, especially as regards the sign Aquarius, and that whether a person is an Aquarian or not. I am not an Aquarian. I am a Cancerian. And that's just the sun sign. When someone says they're only referring to their sun sign, every other sign in the zodiac, and there are still usually considered 12 signs. Other people say 13. I'm going to go with the 12. And we're affected by all of it. And depending on where what is in one's chart, yes, we get a chart, can depend on how they're affecting us. Now, am I going to go in explicit detail for that? No, that would be overwhelming. I'll do a little bit enough so people can go, and really take it in. So that's part of who I am now.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I wasn't going to ask you this question, but you were just speaking about how we have a chart and so on. And I just want to brush over this really quickly. I could say it as well too, because I had a podcast about this as well, because I didn't understand, like, I guess, is it called the natal chart? So when we introduce ourselves and say what signs we are, I'm going to say Cancer because that's my sun sign. But we actually have 3 signs that that are in the natal chart. What do you call it? The 3 signs.
Well, the things that most people look at first when they consider the most important is first your sun sign, next your moon, which is the way one deals with emotions or how one relates to one's mother or how one may behave as a mom. And the other is the ascendant, which is also called the rising sign. And the way one relates to one's sun sign, that's how the person is motivated. Like I am also a Cancerian, born a different day than Unique, but it's a 30-day option, okay? It's not all one big thing. That's what'll motivate me. The ascendant, rising sign, is how other people see us and the way we appear to the world. The moon sign is how we process emotion or don't process emotion and how we deal with that. And they're all important. And when they're, how shall we say this? When they're all harmonious, and the sun and moon usually is, because it would be really inappropriate for human beings to not be able to have a positive relationship between how they see themselves and their emotional behavior, because that would not be a good thing. So they're normally in sextile or conjunction. They're not normally in square, because that could be, let's just say, a challenge. They're not in opposition. The ascendant, on the other hand, can be anything, because the ascendant changes every 2 hours every day, because there's 12 signs, 24 hours. So when a person does a chart, and I've had to ask this constantly with different people, you need the explicit time that a person was born, not what we call mother time, which is a mom can say, well, sometime in the morning. That's not good enough. You need the exact time, because it changes. And it may not look like it means a lot right at the beginning, but for predictive astrology, like most of us aren't just born. I've been around for more than like 2 minutes. And you've been around for more than 2 minutes. You're a grown woman, a beautiful, brilliant grown woman, but a grown woman, not an infant. So when we would do predictive astrology, everything moves and changes. So we have to see how it's affected. And that's why that kind of the exactitude of the math is very important.
Yes.
I mean, I did my sister's chart. This is my sister, right?
Mhm.
And I didn't have, my mom had made baby books for each of us with the exact time of birth in the baby book.
Mhm.
And I had miscalculated my sister's chart by maybe 5 minutes. 5 minutes. It gave a different ascendant.
Mm.
And it was a different reading when I looked at it and then did it correctly. And it gave it correct. And then I had another understanding of my sister. This is my sister,
Yeah.
who I know. I was born first, so I've always known her. And
Uh-huh.
so that's why that particular thing is important. And by the way, if you don't know your birth time, don't panic. Don't panic. Many of us who do charts will do what we call a solar chart, and we'll use noon as the birth time. The planets will be in correct relationship. The moon might be a little bit different because that changes also.
Mhm.
And the houses, God, I'm gonna have to explain this. So the chart, can I explain this briefly? What I'm
Yeah,
talking
we're not
about, or
gonna
wait
get
till
too
later?
deep into the houses, but yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so the chart, at least in Western astrology, and I'm talking Western, not Vedic astrology. I'm not a Vedic astrologer, although I'm a Cancerian in both. Okay, it's a round circle. It's divided into sections. Okay, and those sections are called houses. Are they all equal? No, they're not all equal. And each house, each section, each piece of quote unquote pie has a different meaning. And if you've got planets in those houses, it'll have different effects on whomever the person is. And how the planets relate to each other in a person's specific chart also will help show how a person behaves. Now, if somebody asks me, does this mean everything is predetermined and we don't have free will? No, because we all, in my opinion, we always have free will. We are a soul. We are, this is my language, we are beings of light in physical form at the moment, hopefully enjoying our journey or having challenge or whatever it may be, but enjoy it anyway, even with any of the whatever, because this is your shot at it. Like it's my shot at it as an Audrey. It's yours as a Unique. You can be a Phyllis or a Diego or whatever you may be. This is your shot at it at this time, okay? So get whatever enjoyment you can out of it. Are we all here to learn? Yes. Does everyone choose to learn? Is it always? Yeah, but look around. Look around. Is it always easy? I've not always found it to be easy. Okay, but if one releases resistance, which is a huge thing, and allows oneself to flow, which is really important, the learning becomes easier. If one insists on, oh, my nails, I have to do that softly. If one insists on being stuck, it's a little more challenging. By the way, Cancer is a cardinal sign. I'm not going to go into the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
But
there's so much.
later.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's so much that we
There's a
can go
lot.
into with astrology. But thank you for all of your wise words and the ending off with saying that to understand to go into flow. And you know, I just wanted you to touch on that really quickly because a lot of us, like most of my life, I'm a Cancer, but as Cancers are known to be emotional, and I never understood that. I could not resonate with it. And so
Oh,
when I discovered, you know, the three major signs, which was the sun,
that's
the moon, and the rising, I discovered I was a Virgo. So my emotions are in in Virgo. So that related more to me as being, you know, even though my sun sign's a Cancer, the emotions that I feel are more towards the Virgo feeling. That's what
your moon is Virgo? Your moon
my
is
moon.
Virgo?
Yeah, yours is a
So
Virgo too. Mm-hmm.
let me tell you the positive, and then we'll get it. Positive about moon and Virgo, okay, is one can get into the essence of whatever a feeling is. I use that as a psychic healer, whatever you want to call me, because I could hone right in.
Yes.
Okay. The issue with the Virgo moon, this is right with the Virgo moon, okay, or sun, is can be so critical about the self and anything else, you miss the forest for the trees. So it's important to let that go and allow oneself to have feelings and know how to use them, how
Yeah.
not rather than be used by them, which used to be my issue. Because I definitely have feelings. There's no question about how many feelings I have
Yeah.
and the intensity of them. What's your ascendant?
It's Libra.
My opposite. Mine's
Yeah.
Aries.
And so the
Okay.
Libra is it's so even though I'm a Cancer, Libra is my rising sign or my ascendant sign, which would be how people perceive me. So they will look at me as the qualities of a Libra, you know. So this is important for all of us to understand this. And as you were quickly talking about the houses and so on, so we could both be sitting here being Cancers, but we could be different. We're different people, you know. So I know a lot of times when we see stuff on the internet, we kind of put everyone in one box. Oh, she's an Aquarius, she's an Aries, and it's not like that because we all are fine-toothed out here. So just even though we may have that umbrella of our sun sign running around with us, it's very important for us to understand so we can understand these characteristics. And just like you was able to give me that advice about having the Virgo moon about my emotions, you know, this is why it's so important to start to understand these things because, and you know, innately I may have act a certain way because that's my sign within me, but to understand this is why I'm acting this way, and I can now with my free will make the adjustments. So this is why, you know, and not kind of keep running with that same you know, the same old story and have understanding about it. So that's probably what I'm trying to say, having the understanding around these around the meanings of all these signs that are in your chart, and then now you have the free will to you know, navigate with it.
It's also a learning process, depending on one's, how do I want to say this? Depending on one's level of awareness, because not every soul is born at the same level of awareness. We're not. Some people call it young souls, medium, old souls, ancient. I am clearly an old soul, whether it's not because I'm older on the earth.
Yeah.
That's a separate thing. But I'm born that way. I came in kind of knowing certain things. Some people kind of knowing other stuff that like they can do motors and things like that, which is awesome to me because it's not my thing in any way, shape, or form. And when somebody is an old soul, more or different is required of them than a brand new soul. And sometimes the so-called new souls, young souls, can have a lot of energy and can run and do things, but some of them can run amok, okay?
Yes.
Without understanding. Okay, and an old soul, by the way, does not mean you don't have energy. I have a ton of energy, and that's something we build. We build. Your ascendant, by the way, Libra, people will maybe just say a little bit about it. They will perceive you as charming. They will perceive you as the one who looks to make peace. They will perceive you as beautiful, which I also. And Libra ascendant is going to look for that. They're not going to like dissension. Cancerians don't like dissension. Virgo moon especially doesn't also. So you don't like that. I'm Aries rising. That's different. Okay, it gives one a forward push, which I never knew I had, by the way, because I relate to myself as a Cancerian.
Yeah.
And years ago, when people said I had a lot of energy, I didn't know who they were talking
fire.
about.
Yeah, you do. Yes, I can see that. So when I see you, I can see the Aries in you because of the fire. But yes.
But that Aries is the initiator. Aries is the sign that they don't want to do anything the same old way just because that's the way it's been done. If they can see a better way, they're going to look to create that. And do I have that in me? Quite frankly, yes, I do. So any of you who are listening, watching, however you get this, if you don't know your own chart, go to AstroDienst, ASTRODIENST.com. And if you know your birthday, if you know your exact time of birth, not what we call mother time, sometime in the morning, the exact time and where you were born. Not, you don't need I'm born in Brooklyn. Okay, I don't need to know the hospital, but Brooklyn will do it.
Yeah.
And then have that website construct a natal chart for you. Then you can get at least a picture. It'll be a round thing and signs and whatnot. And then you can at the least see what this means. And they may give certain interpretations. I don't know. I can give the interpretations. I mean, that's part of what I do. And then you'll have another understanding of yourself. And I personally, for years, have felt that the more a person knows about themselves from any of these spiritual ways of approaching, the more you can know who you are and others. And the more it shows to me the interconnection of the universe, multiverse, whatever it is we are in,
Yes.
and be able to navigate it and make the shifts and changes that may be required, which they are right now, so we can go to the next highest levels. And it's especially important now. We are coming out of the age of Pisces. When someone says age of, that's a 2,000 year period. We are coming into, some of you may not remember a song called years back called Age of Aquarius, which I am not going to sing. Okay. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that one.
Yes, you got it.
We are dawning into the age of Aquarius. There's a thing, it's called the cusp between ages. It isn't like one day, oh, now we're there. No, I think it's between 150 and 200 years till we're really in that age. We're still cusping, and we're getting a kind of push forward because Pluto, and I still consider it a planet. I know some people call it a planetoid. I'm not one of them. I give Pluto full respect as being a planet because ruled by Scorpio, which is intense, okay? And because now Aquarius, literally, I wrote the notes because it's hard for me to read the ephemeris.
About to jump into all of the shifts that are happening within, astrology, within astrology. And, no matter if you want to believe in it or not, it's going to happen. And you are going to be feeling effects. And just as we spoke about your personal signs and and understand, having another way of understanding what's going on and how to apply those things within you is so important, with your own personal signs. Now, we're about to go into a discussion what's happening, collectively. And before you jump into what we're about to jump into, can you just explain what is the important, I never knew that the planets were a part of astrology. I just knew I was a Cancer. And like I said, this is only a couple of years ago when I'm starting to dig deeper and understanding I'm a Virgo. I'm all of these.
Well, you're not a Virgo. You're not a Virgo.
I'm not a Virgo. I'm a Cancer.
Virgo moon.
Virgo moon. And yeah, I'm just
Libra ascendant. Still a Cancerian sun. That doesn't change.
Yeah. I'm always a Cancer sun. But just even understanding, I didn't know what that existed. I didn't know I had a moon sign and ascendant sign. So, and then now I didn't understand that the planets were a part of this whole astrology thing. So what's the importance of the planets? What's the influence? Like, what's the one-on-one, so we understand that when you start saying Pluto and all this type of stuff, for someone that doesn't understand, it's going to be a foreign language almost. Like, what is she talking about, Pluto?
So I'm going to give basic. Okay, there are things I don't even know. There were little planets. I'm not going to get into that. I don't even know them all. Okay, that's like OMG. But all the planets, Mercury, Venus, the Earth, it's the sun sign. Okay, we don't have an Earth. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. The 9 planets all have an effect on us. Each one rules, quote unquote, rules a certain area. I'm going to do this very simply, okay? So it's way more complicated than what I'm saying. So I don't need anyone to call in and tell Unique that Audrey didn't say this and this and this about all of them. This is kind of giving brief so you can take it in without being overwhelmed. The purpose for this is for you to get some understanding without feeling, okay, like that. That's why you see a professional astrologer, okay, to really get that. Mercury rules the way we think, the way we speak, our mind, whatever sign it's in, And because I don't know anyone's chart here except my own, I'll simply just say where mine is. This isn't ego. It's just I know my chart. I don't know Unique's chart. I can't do her. I can do mine. So wherever Mercury is, whatever sign it's in, whatever house, remember I said there's like 12 sections, will affect how it affects the person. My Mercury is in Cancer. I have Mercury is normally not emotional. The only sign it can really be emotional in is, ta-da, Cancer, which is where I have it. So Mercury is how you think, how you express yourself, the way you write, the way your mind might work. Then we come to Venus. Venus is usually called the love planet. Venus might be the way you express your love. Venus could be the way you dress. It could be your fashion. It could be the way you look to bring peace, because Venus is associated with peace. It also could be how you make your money, what you do with your finances, okay? And depending again where that is and how it relates to everything else in your chart will depend on how it is. Okay, I don't know that I have to go through my whole chart. That just sort of sounds egocentric. So I'm just going to leave that to the side. And then the next planet after that is Mars. Well, there is the Earth tucked in, but that's where we look for our sun sign. And that's where, when you're born on a certain day. Mine is July 17th. And July 17th is the sun sign of Cancer. And my degree is 24 degrees, 55 minutes, because that's just where it happens to be when one does the math. You don't have to do it. It's all kind of done for you. The next planet is Mars. Mars is our energy, our life force. It also could be how we express anger, how we express rage. It's also the energy to get things done. Okay. And depending, some places are easier for some of the planets, some places are more challenging for some of the planets. Okay. Then after Mars comes Jupiter. Jupiter is expansive. Wherever one has Jupiter is where they're going to expand. It's also about looking for, what's the word I want? Justice. Jupiter is all about creating justice and expanding whatever it touches. It happens, my Mercury and Jupiter they work together literally like this, which in astrology means it expands my mind. Okay, and they're both in Cancer, so I've got some emotion there. And then after Jupiter comes Saturn. I used to want to avoid Saturn. When I was studying astrology, I did not want to deal with Saturn. And then my teacher told, you have to deal with Saturn. Saturn is called a lot of things. The great taskmaster, the great teacher, mother, father, time. Saturn is our skeleton, our bones, our structure. And if we didn't have a skeleton or bones, we'd be amoebas. And I personally would rather not be amoeba in this life. I may have done it before. I don't need to do it again. I like having a body. Okay, I like being able to move around. So that's, will Saturn give you lessons? Yes. Yes. Will they be easy? Yeah, it depends. If you allow yourself to learn them, they will not be, they can be easier. The reason some people in the past, I don't know about right now, have said people get older when they're over 30 is because the Saturn return. Some of you may have heard that expression. Saturn takes between 28 and 29 years to go around the sun, which means in that amount of time, it'll be back at the degree it was when you were born. Now, of course, if you leave the Earth at 26, you won't have one. But if you're here at least 30 years, you will have one. The Saturn return in astrology is when someone officially becomes an adult and becomes responsible for their being on this Earth. Again, between 28, 29 years. So if somebody learns the lessons, and you will know what they are because you will feel them. Then as you enter your 30s, you don't have to get old at all. That's when somebody is resisting. No, I don't want to learn. Go away. That's when somebody is resisting learning or refuses to learn. Then you can get older energetically because you get stuck. Do I recommend that? No. My lesson, oh God, I don't want to cry. My lesson was I learned, you'll see how Cancerian I am. Okay, my emotions are right everywhere. What I learned when I was that age was my parents might never really understand me. That
Mm.
was a hard lesson for a Cancerian, because this Cancerian mostly want to have a closeness with the mom. The level I wanted was not what was there. I'm not saying there wasn't, it was other. So I made peace within myself at that age that I would learn and accept myself. And if my folks
Mm.
never really understood me, I would love them and I would work through that. And that would be that. Okay. So Saturn, Uranus is the unusual. Uranus can bring unexpected change. Okay, I don't know how to predict Uranus because it's the unexpected. It's unique. It's amazing. It could be explosive, depending on where it is in the chart. It's definitely unique. If somebody says to you, you're Uranian, you're more unique, whatever that might be, in whatever areas than certain other people who may be unique in other ways. I like Uranus, okay, but then I have it in nice aspects in my chart. Neptune, the next planet, is usually called higher love, agape, okay, not just the love. Oh, I love you. You're so cute. That's Venus. Okay. Your Neptune is higher love, unconditional. And there are people who think they love unconditionally, but then if you poke a little bit, it may not be so unconditional. So be very wise about this with Neptune. And Neptune, a person can deceive themselves about what's there because the one person can want it so beautiful and amazing. I'm one of those people. So, oh, I'm in magic land. But with Neptune, you have to still pay attention to what is going on so a person doesn't deceive themselves or be deceived by others.
Mm.
And in case anyone wonders, I'm really good as a clairvoyant of all these labels. Does that mean I can't be deceived? No, I can be.
Mm.
Okay. Do I like it? No, I do not. And then I have to heal myself. So I'm not in self-blame or anger or rage and all that stuff. So if anyone thinks that somebody like me you just float through life, no, no, I am more aware, that is for sure, than the average person. More is expected of me because I'm born with this. And I am truly doing my level or up level best. That's why I'm doing this, okay, to bring this forth to everyone. And then the next planet is Pluto. And Pluto, Pluto is about transformation on the deepest level, not just personally, globally. It will, like Scorpio, drag stuff from the bottom and go, look at this. So when Pluto was in a sign, like it's been in Capricorn, and it's just gone into Aquarius, it's going to retro back to Capricorn. Wait, I wrote the date. So it goes back into Capricorn on September 3rd. It stays there for the American election, which I'm not so thrilled about, but that's a whole other story, until November 9th. And then on the 20th, it goes back into Aquarius, where it stays, till March 9th, 2043. So almost 20 years, I'm taking these off, okay? And this is huge. This is huge. So, and then I have to say North Node and South Node, which I didn't do. People want to know, why was I born? What's my karma? Blah, 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 blah. I look at the North and South Node, which will give it taste. The North Node is like the karma, why you're born in this life, not the work you're meant to do, what your soul is meant to learn. South Node is what your soul has already learned. And for many of us, it's easy to go to the South Node. I love you. That is not what you're here for. You're here to go to the North Node, which can feel like a challenge. Surprise. Okay, but once you start getting it, it works. My North Node is in Virgo. I had to learn to make things concrete and real, which means my South Node is in Pisces. I could have lost myself in daydreams. I'm a Cancerian. That's easy for me to do. Okay. That's not what I'm here for. I'm there to take it and bring forth. I mean, I'm an artist. Okay. I'm a psychic. I create beauty for transformation. But if all I did was like this, which I do sometimes, but if that's all I did and didn't activate the North Node, I'm missing what I came on this earth for, which is why I've got books. I've got classes online. I do readings. I do stuff to help, like a thing, like a something to help people grow if they want to. If you don't want to grow, that's your choice. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a quick run through of what those planets mean.
Thank you. Thank you
Those-
so much. You really clarified, well, you clarified a lot for me because like I said, I'm still just getting a grasp on all of this. And for anyone that's interested, because as you were talking, I was looking, I don't know if you can see, I was looking at all of my houses.
Oh, wait.
Um,
Oh, no,
there's
these glasses, I can't see.
yeah, this app is called CoStar, and you just
Okay.
it's an amazing app because you just simply put your the same thing, your birthday and the time you were born, and it gives you your full, it gives you the circle and it gives you the houses. And so I can, as you were saying, every planet, I was looking to see what sign was in that planet. So like Mercury, I'm in Gemini. With with Jupiter, I'm in Taurus. So I was able to see every
Oh,
sign
you
that
like making money. Okay.
so I was
Jupiter and Taurus, you'll be able to attract. Listen, you're talking to an astrologer, healer, psychic.
yeah, so co-star, and actually you should sign, because then also it's also nice because I put my husband's, I set my husband up on it,
Can't
and
find my
so
pen.
it gives you daily updates. I'll tell you, I'll put it on the screen. It gives you daily updates, so it lets you know with the friends that you are connected with within the sign. It lets you
Oh,
know what your relationship looks like with that person that day. So then they'll let you know, oh, Earl needs help. Well, my husband's name is Earl. Earl needs a little more of this attention today, because they know
nice.
both of our charts. So whatever friend, so you can accept your friends. So now we get to see our connection, how our charts merge together. It's called CO-star, STAR, co-star. So
I like that.
yeah, so it's really cool in that way. So so it tells me today, my power is in thinking and creativity and social life and self. That's what I'm powerful in today. My pressure for today is routine and love. And then my trouble today is in spirituality. So that
Okay.
my
I
pressure,
wouldn't use the word trouble. I'd say challenge.
so they put, so my pressure, and but with pressure they put a fire next to it. So I don't know, when they mean pressure, they mean like it's like hot. I don't know, like if they mean it that way. And then it gives you like a daily rundown. So for anyone that's like
Nice.
listening to all of this information, I suggest co-star. And then I saw that chart like there, but like you telling me all of the, like what every planet represents, I was able to look at that and go with you with it. So that was really amazing. And now I took notes, so now I can like dig deeper, like when I'm looking at each planet, to understand what that planet represents. So thank you. But the
Thank
only
you. You're welcome.
yeah, I just have to figure out myself in North Node. I don't know if it's on the app. I have to figure out where it's located, but I don't see it like right there on the surface. But I'll figure that out later. So I can make sure I'm working towards my North Node, because I'm a yogi, and there's a quote that I said, the pose that you're avoiding is the pose you need most of all. Because of course we can always stick where we're comfortable and flexible in, but the poses that we are challenged in, those are the poses we need to work on. So it sounds like with the North Node, when we figure out what our North Node is, we understand like, oh, okay, this is why I've been avoiding it, because I need to go there.
Go to astro.com, ASTRO.com, to do a chart. And the same with CoStar. You are going to need to know where you're born. Again, not 320 West. Like for me, it was Brooklyn. That's enough. Okay. The time. They are going to want the exact time. Okay. And especially if you're doing the chart, and if something, as I said, when I did my sister's chart, I was 5 minutes off. It changed the sign.
Yeah.
So really, as best you can get the exact time. In New York, you go to, where do you go? Oh, the Bureau of Vital Statistics. Okay. And other places, you go to the hospital where you were born. Since I don't know where everyone's born, I can't tell them so-called where to go. but you want the exact time, not, well, sort of, maybe. That's not how astrology works, okay? Especially for predictive astrology. And the stuff you are talking about is sort of predictive astrology. So place, time, date.
Mm.
And then if one wants to play around a little with numerology, the name. That's a separate thing. Okay, but that kind of thing.
Yeah, now that we understand how important the planets are and you breaking down each planet, thank you, thank you, thank you. Definitely. Let us know what's about to happen, what's going on universally with us.
Okay, so I'm going to have a little bit on Capricorn and a little bit on Aquarius. And remember, I'm saying a little bit. I'm not giving a whole huge thing on that. So a planet, a sign can be earth, air, fire, or water. One of those. It can be fixed, mutable, or cardinal. So every sign is one of those. It's two things. Cancer is cardinal water. Cardinals usually activate quickly. Mutable, they can be more flexible. Fixed, hard to change their minds, okay? They may take a moment to get started, but when they get started, they're there. And there's a good thing for each, and there's a challenge for each. That being said, Pluto has been in Capricorn for quite a few years. And as I said, Pluto rules transformation. It rules how things are done. It rules the vibrational pattern kind of on the earth, the way people are doing. In Capricorn, we've had government down, like from the top down. It's been, we have seen, okay, big government, some people making pots and pots and pots of money. I'm not saying not to make money. But when the world has billionaires and people that don't even have the proverbial pot to do whatever in, the pot to in, okay, that's the way I'm using that word, by the way, that is just inappropriate. That's a personal response. That is no, okay? And when something is in Capricorn, is in Pluto, especially when you come to the end, and we are at that, okay, one can see the negative aspects of whatever that was. Now, Aquarius, air sign, mental, quick thinking, quick moving, yet Aquarius is a fixed sign. To get an Aquarian to do anything, or any fixed sign, can take a little something, okay? You can't push them. It won't work. You have to show them how and why and what it might be. And then what else is it? It's fixed, it's this. It's also highly intelligent. Aquarians are extremely intelligent. It's a very unique sign. They don't want to do things just because it was done. They're going to look for a unique, interesting way to get stuff done. It is considered the sign of humanity, people. The United States, I don't know which is some people say the United States has Aquarius rising. Some other astrologers say it's Gemini rising. I have not studied both charts, so I'm not going to say. But the Aquarius rising would really indicate that the United States is meant to be a humanitarian country, which, by the way, it is meant to be, in my opinion. Gemini rising is all about communication. So I'd have to study each particular chart to say what I think, but I like the idea of humanitarian. Now, Aquarius, let's just say that it's also a sign that would indicate unisex. I remember years ago when friends and I, before this happened, were discussing what's it going to be like in Aquarius. Well, as we move into Aquarius, I expect to see a whole lot of change in the way government organizations are run. I expect to see, now that doesn't mean the very next day, really understand it's a process. I expect to see people getting more power. And you don't just get power by grabbing it. That's more Capricornian. Not that it couldn't be Aquarius. It's building it within yourself. People realize we are all connected to the universe, not only some people. Okay? Everyone has abilities. Everybody can connect to the infinite. That's what I teach. That's what I know. Now it's going to become more obvious to people. I expect to see changes in religion. I expect to see changes in the way people might express their sexuality or gender or whatever the words are these days about that. There will probably be, how do we want to say this? More acceptance of gender diverse people. Okay, there's all language. Okay, so if somebody has more up-to-date language, that's fine. I'm not saying I have the most up-to-date language because it changes. It changes moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. Okay, and I know when I have a sex course. It's called Sexuality, Sensuality, Spirituality, Stupendous Sex, Your Intimacy, Healing, Exuberance course, because a lot of people have had issues. Okay, whatever. This course will help clear you. And when I was doing the research for it, because I am, in today's language, a she, her, I don't believe I'm saying this, but the guides are giving it. So here, I am heterosexual female. Okay. But I spoke with a lot of people because some of them are my clients, some of them are friends, and some of them I found them and spoke with them who really let me know that they do not want to be considered diverse or different, that it's a mental thought pattern that only certain things are normal and that they're not non-normal. They are what they are. And just so people know, the only things my guides told me years ago, because people ask me, what's allowable in sex? So the only, and we have an adult audience, so I can say, okay, so the only things not allowable is sex with a child, sex with an animal, sex with somebody who's not in a position mentally or in any other way to say yes or no. Like if somebody is all inebriated and all that, not appropriate because they don't have the capacity in that moment to actually say yes or no. Sex where you really hurt somebody, beat them up or whatever, that's a no. If somebody likes playing with, what are the words now? A little bit of S&M, okay, or whatever it's called these days. I don't know what it's called anymore, bondage or whatever. If somebody likes that, but they're not really hurting someone, you're not cutting them, they're not bleeding, they're not like that. So if somebody wants to do that, that's your choice. If somebody wants to have sex with 2 people, 3 people, whatever, and people agree and choose it, as long as they're choosing it, that's okay. If somebody wants to have self-sex because that's what's available, or they don't like anyone else, or whatever, that's allowed. Okay, so people who go, no, you can't this, and if they say, and I have heard this, let me tell you, God says, you don't know what God says. That's a little bit ego-centered. And then I'm going to say something that I didn't know I was going to say this, but again, it's given to me. And I pray and meditate and lift my frequency before I do this, just so you all know. If somebody says, well, any particular spiritual book, whether it's called the Bible, whether it's called the Quran, whether it's called the Upanishads, or whatever, ever, these were written for the most part by people, and for the most part by men, and usually in a patriarchal age, which had its own belief systems, and then they were rewritten and retranslated. So we do not necessarily know what was in the individual at the very beginning when it was written. So before you go and say, well, so-and-so and such says this, you don't know. I mean, I have friends, I have dear friends, dear friends, who told me, because they're dear friends, that homosexuality is wrong because the Bible says so. That doesn't mean it's wrong. That just meant whoever wrote it at the time was inculcated with that particular belief system. So be very aware. So with Pluto moving through Aquarius, which it will be going straight through Aquarius at the end of November, from November 20th, all the way up through March 9th of 2043, you're going to be seeing, we're all going to be seeing a whole slew of changes in this. A lot. Does that mean the very next day? No. It's a process. It's a process. It's a process. And I want to give you a couple of dates to look forward to, because on, okay, where is this? Okay, so, okay, where is this? I have to be able to read my own notes. Oh, in February, we are going to have Venus goes into Aquarius. It's not in Aquarius now. It goes into Aquarius on February 17th this year. And then Mars goes into Aquarius on Valentine's Day, February 14th. So they're going to be conjunct. That means they operate together. So from February 15th to February 20th, 2024, we are going to be having Venus aligned with Mars, aligned with Pluto. That is going to be an extremely intense time for unique new stuff. It could be wonderful for love. If there's issues in your love life, you will probably find them out because they're operating together. If you're looking for a new love, that could be an interesting time. Oh, thank you. That could be an interesting time for it to occur. I said that because I would love a new love, okay, for that to occur. Will it be unique? Most likely. And I'm personally used to that.
We're going to have 3 planets in one sign during
conjunct, but yeah, not just in one sign, but literally conjunct, all at 1 degree of Aquarius. Now, if you have air signs up to maybe 3 degrees, that's being a little generous, you can be feeling this. Okay. If you have other signs that way, depending, I'm not going to go through every single sign. Some planets and some signs get along very nicely, others not so much. It's like this. Okay. So again, if you want me to look at your chart, you have to call me and all that. And yes, I actually do this. And yes, there is a financial exchange and all of that. I think these things are important to know. Like I personally am going to be looking forward to see what happens on February 15th to the 20th, because who knows? Okay, who knows? It could be a good thing for money. Could be a good thing for starting whatever you might be starting. It'll be intense because Pluto's right there. So it's not just, it may not just be a casual, oh, she's cute, oh, he's cute, or they're cute. It could be, oh my God, there's whatever going on. But that's like a little tidbit for people to look at. And then they go differently because Pluto moves much more slowly than Mars and Venus. Mars moves a little more slowly than Venus, so there's only a few days where they're literally aligned. And then as they go in their separate progression, the orb, the orb means how close they are and how much they move together and can be affecting one together, changes. And so I'm not going to go into March and all that because that becomes a little more complicated. I think this is enough for now for people to take in and enjoy. And so we're living at a remarkable time. So the age of Aquarius, which I feel we're actually in, I feel we've gone beyond the beginning of the cusping. We're not just the caterpillar right now. I think we're coming out of the chrysalis. I don't think we're quite the butterfly. I think we have to be in it a lot. How long? How much more? Okay, we have to be in it a lot more in the age of Aquarius. Within 100 years, which is beyond when Pluto was there, we are going to be in fully the age of Aquarius. What that's going to bring, who knows? We're going to be on other planets. We're going to be making changes on the Earth. Aquarius may want to be a little more conducive to the Earth, although Capricorn is an Earth sign. And if it were operating properly, it would be taking care of the Earth. Now, with Pluto and Capricorn, I'm going to ask how many people listening and watching feel that most governments, big organizations are really taking care of the Earth. I'm like, yeah, about that. So what could you do? What could each individual do? I'm big into this, okay? At least once a week, be plant-based. If you like the V words, be vegan. 1 day a week, every single week. And then don't double up on meat, fish, chicken on the other days or other bird, okay? Just do what you normally do. And if people do that and pass this on, then what happens is the Earth literally starts rebalancing because the level of damage to the planet from eating meat, which I'm not going to get into the whole thing, it's all on the internet, okay? And if you're an athlete and you think, no, how do you need? Go watch Game Changer. And that's a movie on Netflix, if it's still there, and they're athletes, way bigger. I'm 4'10", so I mean, they're like 6 feet, and they're rare guys and women, and all of them in training, and they got tested and all this kind of scientific stuff, found themselves stronger, better, winning more matches or whatever they participate in as vegans. And the wife of one of the players made the food. I'm raw vegan, so I'm a little even different than that, mostly raw vegan, not totally. So I do think some more of that is going to happen. I'm not sure what's going to happen when we get on other planets. We may find that people that are now called non-binary, I don't need to define that, do I? Do I have to define non-binary? Okay, that would be that people that don't identify either as just male or female, and they may have had certain sex change operations where the bottom is one and the top is the other, and all of that. Who knows if there's going, now don't run and get an operation. This is not saying everyone should know, okay? But if that's what someone is really called for, and they've had psychological support, or they've seen somebody like me to make sure it's really in their best image and their best interest, rather than just going along with the so-called fad. Don't do that, okay? I can't tell you what might be needed, because the vibration of people who do that, who are called to that, is different than the vibration of someone who is not called to that. And when I was studying, when I wrote the sex course, what I learned is that, and this is not yet proven or not proven, and I haven't kept up with the latest data, but that women's brains and men's brains are a little different. And if somebody is born, if this is still the correct information, born with the kind of brain that is female brain, and they're a male, they may be wanting to be female. They may feel that's what they really are. So I'm not going to say yes or no, because it's an individual situation, and they may be. And I know people say God doesn't make any mistakes and all that. We don't know what's a mistake or not a mistake. All of this could be for raising the consciousness of those of us on the earth, and not be stuck like, this is it, this is it, this is it. You don't know.
Yeah.
And with all of this stuff happening in Aquarius, and then there's more going on, that like the outer planets will all be changing in the next few years. Our mentality, and our means those of us that call ourselves people on the earth, is going to be shifting and growing and changing. And so one of the most important things is loving yourself. And I know, because I used to do live events. I'm not right. I'm in Costa Rica right now. I'm not, but I still would. Okay. Really make sure you do. And I know when I was doing groups, and I'd say, who loves themselves? Really, the hands would go up. Who loves your body? You love your body. Okay. Who loves how you deal with anger? Okay. Who loves where you are financially? Okay. Love yourself, whether you have created or materialized every single thing you think you want or desire, and then be able to make whatever shifts are needed as you move through life. Okay. I just discovered, I don't believe I'm saying this, I just discovered that an investment I made 2-3 years ago, the money was all stolen. This was a lot of money for me. Okay, do I like this? No, not even remotely. And when I tuned in on, because that's part of what I do, and I was shown, yes, this can work. So I put in what for me was a lot of money. And for most people, it would be considered ample. Nobody would say, oh, good, let's lose it. Unless maybe you're a billionaire and it's not like nothing to you. I've had to I'm still shifting. I said, am I in a shift now? Yeah, I am. Okay, to make peace with myself and learn the various lessons, which I am, and be able to move forward cleanly and openly, rather than like this, which I did go through. Okay.
Wow.
So, yeah, no, I was not happy about this
Mm,
at all. Okay.
mm.
That money would be extremely handy to have, and it was supposed to manifest more and all that kind of stuff, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And unless some miraculous thing, and I do believe in miracles, I have lived miracles. I
Hmm.
have literally lived miracles. Should I tell you one?
Sure.
This one's adorable.
I love to hear miracles.
Okay, so this is me crossing and uncrossing my legs, by the way. Yes, I am flexible. Okay. I call this the traveling nighties. My mother, okay, had nighties that I loved when I was a little girl. They were nighties she had from when she was young, and I adored them. I just adored them. So at a certain point in time, she gave them to me.
Mhm.
And so
Just
I would,
well, you said 90s, so pajamas.
nightgowns,
Yeah, okay.
nightgowns,
Yeah.
filmy, really nice nightgowns. Now, my mother was born in 1916. So
Hmm.
we're going back to when she was in her 20s, 16, 20s. So that would have been in the 1930s. And they were some pretty, pretty diaphanous stuff. And I loved them. Okay, so she gave them to me at a certain point in time. I took them with me from New York to Florida. I kept track of them. And then one day, I could not find them. I had no idea where they were. And I didn't wear them because I'm a little taller than my mom. And to my surprise, my feet, my breasts had gotten bigger and they didn't fit in quite as well as I would have liked. And I don't like anything that's uncomfortable anywhere, and certainly not there. And all of this, I searched did you ever search your place over and over and over and over and over and you can't find it? Couldn't find it. So being what I am, what did I do? I called other people who were healer psychics. They said it disappeared. I could not believe that. And then I still had my New York apartment at the time. I was going to be selling or giving away a slew of stuff that I no longer had use for. I was giving away certain books to an organization that dealt with people in Africa, which is near and dear to my heart. Huge, 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 huge. I still intend to return and take care of stuff that I once started there. Separate story. And then the gentleman to whom I was going to give a slew of books went into this closet that had been locked by a person who was then renting my New York place, opened up a carton. Understand, I had not been back to my New York apartment in a long time. My daughter had not been back. No one else had been back. All the stuff was in a dresser drawer in my Florida appointment. There were the 90s. There were the 90s. My big question is, how'd they get there?
Hmm.
Nobody put them there. I didn't put them there. And no, I didn't forget and do it in my sleep. I did not. My daughter didn't slither in and do, no. So I call this the story of the traveling 90s. And when I got them back and brought them back into my Florida apartment, and I hung them up, I will tell you, every couple of days, I went back in that closet and checked that they were there, that I
Hmm.
didn't want them fleeting. I've now given them to my granddaughters. They were 490s. I have 3 granddaughters, and I distributed them. I
Hmm.
can't wear them because, as I said, I'm bigger, and I'm not big. Okay, I'm 4'10". Okay, I'm not some huge person,
Hmm.
and all of that. That's a miracle to me because there is no way that I know of, with whatever I know of physics and anything, that happened. I have no idea. And that's real. And it seems very simple. But
Hmm.
unless you or anyone else my nose itches, can tell me how that happened, and just so we get really clear, I did not forget. I did not accidentally go to the other place and put them there. I did not forget. My daughter didn't slither in and do that. Nobody else did it. They
Hmm.
somehow vanished from Florida, went into a locked closet that in a carton.
Hmm. Yeah.
and I unearthed them. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I 100% believe every word you said, and I truly believe the miracles and the spirits are real. They are real, real, real. And it's like I have a story to kind of go with yours. You know, as I said, I'm just me coming into this place with spirituality and like looking deeper into my birth chart, all this type of stuff is just a few years back. So once I got into this place, everyone was talking about the birth chart. You need to know what time of day you were born. I had no idea what time of day I was born. The birth certificate I have is the one that is the reprint from the state.
Oh, the green one.
Yeah, and they don't
Yeah.
have the time on them.
No,
I asked my mother, what time it, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm like, was it morning? Was it night? She just didn't know. I'm like, you sure you just don't know? Don't know. So my mother has two places in New York and South Carolina, and I was in her New York place and she was down south, and I was transporting some, it was like a plastic thing that she just had paperwork in or whatever the case is, to her storage unit in the basement. And literally, spirit literally had all of this paperwork, had my birth certificate. And I asked her, I was like, you don't have the original? No. Don't you have it? You know, I was asking all these questions. She had no idea where my birth certificate was. She's claiming she was like, I didn't give it to you. I don't know where it's at. It falls out. Literally, as me transporting, the birth certificate falls out because I needed that date, that time of day I was born. And I was like, this is unreal. It literally was hand given to me when my mother confirmed, I don't know anything. I have nothing to do with this, and it falls out because it was meant for me.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. Oh, I'm going to do a different breathing attunement. Can I do heart breathing?
Yeah.
To help people love themselves?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
Okay.
I mean, should we close off the show, or should we
How much time do we have?
I mean, we're open. I mean, I definitely, you said so much, and I think it's a lot for a lot of us to take in, especially I feel like if you're not really into astrology and you're like getting all of this information, it's probably definitely a lot of information. You were saying so much, and I felt like I wanted to interrupt so many times, but I was like, let me let you get through everything. And because I felt like I just wanted to like tap into everything, but just to tap back into the part where you were just saying, about the planet and the and so on, and about the Netflix series. There's another series that is beautiful on Netflix, and it's currently on Netflix, and it's called Kiss the Ground. And it's this episode is more about us having an understanding of what's going on, because I definitely, especially live in New York City, there's a huge disconnect. There's a huge disconnect on what's happening. And we think that food is just supposed to come off of a shelf. And we don't realize that process that happened with the food, and how the earth had and how the processes from back in the day has destroyed our soil, and so on and so on. So, if you are in a place, or if you're not in a place, even if you fall asleep on this Netflix show, that song called Kiss the Ground, I definitely think this is
I think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful starting place to go to understand about what's happening with the soil, what's happening with the environment. And when you know better, you have the opportunity to do better. So for all of us that's living with the wool over our eyes, and this is what they intended for us to happen. They intended to put this wool on over our eyes. So we have these generations now, that we're clueless. And then unless we initially go ahead and go out there and investigate and look into things, that's when we have the opportunity to have change. And so I just wanted to like tagline in on what you were saying.
Yes.
That so we can have an understanding, because 5 years ago, I was with the wool over my eyes. I was thinking, now I need to eat this and eat that, and I need to eat fast food and all this type of stuff. And this is what I was raised on. But now I'm in a whole new vibration. Like I say, I'm not vegan, but I choose not to eat meat, for so many reasons. And, and that's a choice for me. It's in my face every day. I even still cook it for my family because they haven't made the choice not to eat meat. To have the knowledge, to make these decisions within yourself, or what part, like I understand some people, their bodies feel better with eating the meat, but to make that choice to say, oh, where can I cut back, and so on. So I just wanted to jump in with that. But the show was about astrology, and I wanted to, kind of bring a closure to with the astrology, is that having the you said so many great things, and I have so many notes. My notes are all over the place. So I'm like, what did she say? I can't even go back to it. It's like all over the place, because you were saying so many powerful statements throughout your conversation. It's like, I love when you talk, because you're giving us what's happening, but you're also throwing your nuggets in the air with it. So, and that's what's key, nuggets are little key things, and it kind of also it helps to tie things together. But, another thing is, it's like, in life, we've been taught that things are supposed to go this way. This way, you go to school, you do this, you do that, and you can do this. And as we can see from evidence of itself over the past few years, even though, the old rules are changing, they're breaking down. Like you said, you see governments are crumbling. We see with the new generations, things are changing. Rather we want to, we may say, well, in my day, it used to be like this, and they need to act like this and do that, and stuff like that. That's not the direction we're going anymore. Those times are in the past. In the past, and we're moving forward, and we were in, we're moving forward into the age of Aquarius, and with the signs. So like, I'm a Cancer, I'm an Aquarius, I'm a this, I'm a that. If you notice, with each sign, they carry different energies. And so with each sign carrying a different energy, it's understanding now that the Pluto, the planet of transformation, is going into the sign of Aquarius. And the one thing you didn't say about Aquarius, which I do see within Aquarius is about creativity as well too.
It can be very creative.
Yeah, I see it a lot too. So we're moving into the sign of Aquarius, which has its own energy. And so things are going to look much different than when it's been, for the past however many years. And it's going to look different for it going into 2043. So there's going to be, within all of our lifetimes, we're going to be in the age of Aquarius, within Pluto, within the transformation. And to start to understand, get prepared. Be prepared. The old ways may have been good in the old times, but this is the time. This conversation here is just to bring the awakening and the understanding. And then, this conversation we had, we can't, it needs to be a whole course of understanding astrology. That's why you have professionals. That's why you pay people to read your birth chart and help you have an understanding with this, because this information is just not, they had to go and study to learn and understand all of this information. So they have to be compensated so you can help to understand and learn this information as well too. So it could be very difficult, with understanding it. But when you have someone that's a professional that's been knowing this for years and years and years, and they can, nip it in the bud, because you can look at, hours and hours of YouTube, read books, but you may not be able to just get everything. It's all still mush. So, so this is great to understand that, there are people out there like you, professionals, that can help us, just get this, make it make sense. So, and like you said, between like that south node and the north node and all this type of stuff, like understanding, the poles that we're avoiding is the poles that we need to go towards. And and it's so much power in that, I'm feel like I'm about to choke, so I'll pass it off to you.
So by the way, when I do a chart, you don't just get a natal chart. That is like the quote unquote plan. You also get what's called a progress chart, and you get a solar return. I will explain the difference. So a solar return is done on the day of your birthday for each succeeding year, okay? It's where the planets are then, okay? Like I like to look at my soul. I say, oh, what's happening? Okay. And that is what is happening for you at that time, what the world is bringing to you. The progress chart is also done for the day of birth. It's a different calculation. I am not going to get into that. And the progress chart is what you are desiring to occur. Okay. When they coincide and they have, let's just say, easier, harmonious aspects to your natal chart, you can pretty much bet that's going to be going on in your life. Do I find those interesting? Yes, very much so. If you're dealing with somebody in your life, depending on what it's, I like to do their birth chart, and then I do what's called a composite, which is the chart of the relationship. Relationship gets its own chart. So you could see, oh, look at this, look at this. And then there's synastry, which is literally comparing one natal chart to another to see what goes on. Because I know sometimes one can see a couple and wonder, how did they get together? What did they, what? And when one sees the charts, it's like, ah, and people get together for lots of different reasons, not just because we love each other. That's a nice one. Sometimes it's learning, sometimes it's forgiving, which, by the way, my definition for forgiveness, which I learned from this amazing healer umpteen years back in New York named David Markowitz. This is the definition I use. It is the definition I teach. Forgiveness is being free of the negative aspects of anything anyone, including the self, did or omitted doing. It has nothing to do with what you may feel about whomever the other person is. It's a freeing of the self. And when one is free of those negative aspects, those negative effects, then a person has the choice of whether they choose to pardon the person. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, I forgive him, I forgive her, I forgive her, but they haven't really, because they're still having the negative effects of whatever it is. And in the definition that I am sharing now, that's not forgiveness. That's
Yeah.
letting someone off the hook without anybody learning anything. And do I recommend letting nobody learn anything? No, I don't. I recommend learning, okay? And doing it in a way that you can take it in. If somebody looks to take too much on all at once, it's overwhelming. It's like when I've met people who go, oh, I want to be vegan. And they're eating the standard American diet, sad. No, no, too much. Piece by piece by piece by piece by piece, because the body has to accommodate to the new chemistry of what you're eating. The body is actually into the chemistry of whatever you're eating, good or bad. And the body, our physical bodies, literally want to evolve and want the healthiest they can get. But if somebody is eating, okay, I don't want to mention certain over-processed foods, and if they're eating what I call junk and stuff that has no nutrition, and that's what they're living on. It's a little, you take piece by piece by piece, and then they grow, they evolve. They'll want the healthier thing, and they will get healthy. In case somebody is thinking, oh, I'm X age, it doesn't matter what you are. You start where you are, wherever that is, whatever that is, and take the steps, and you will improve. You will enhance your health. I am going to say this. Okay, I am actually in my 8th decade. I am in my 8th decade, and I am super healthy. And could I be healthier? We could all be healthier. So this isn't saying I've reached the epitome. I haven't. There's more of an epitome, but I am super, really healthy. That's spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically. I'm working on the financially and allowing that to open. So I'm allowing that to open more because I did not like that other choice. And a few other things. We all have those options. Let me explain quickly, because I do want to end on the astrology. Do heart breathing. And if you want to learn more about this, go to Heart Math Institute. Heart Math Institute. Our heart has its own brain within it that's more powerful than the brain in the head. That was news for me, but this is important to know. Okay, and simple, 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 simple. I'm going to explain it because, as Unique has said, we've been on for a while. When you breathe, if you learn the learning process, the lifting process, I do it every day. I do it every single day. Okay, breathe into your heart, take in the energy, send it to your whole body, exhale through the heart. Breathe into your heart, breathe in light, breathe in love, breathe in prosperity to your heart. Open your whole being, exhale from the heart. Breathe again into your heart, open your heart brain, bring that up to your head and connect. Exhale from your heart. One more time, breathe into your heart, fill with love, fill with light, fill with joy, fill with ecstasy. Connect to your heart brain, bring that up into your head, connect with the head brain, go back into your heart, and exhale. And that is one simple and effective way for heart breath. Are there many others? Yes, there's many others. Okay, this is one that anyone can do. And as you practice it, you're going to see how you grow and evolve and shift on a higher level. I'm being told I should tell you, if people have had issues with loving themselves, you might cry. You might feel some sadness. That's okay. Keep going. Allow the emotions to flow. Do not block them. You're not doing anything inappropriate. You're allowing the love and the energy to come in. And for people that have not allowed that before in their life or have had that curtail, it could feel a little bit painful to them because they're getting a taste of what they had not had. And the more you do that, the more it comes into you and the more you open to it and the more you have. And then the more you can share and the more you can give. You don't reach like, oh, this is the limit. There's no limit. It keeps evolving. So yeah.
Wow. That was, I mean, of course, you gave us all your nuggets, and that was so beautiful, the heart breathing.
Thank you.
And I've never, I've definitely done tons of breathing exercises, especially as a yogi, but I've never done the heart breathing, and it really hit differently. And I'm like, I'm going to be using that when I teach yoga. I'm definitely gonna, when I do some breathing exercises, is to do the heart breathing, because then of course now I instead of thinking about inhale through your nose, I inhale through your mouth or inhale up, or box breathing or whatever, I was now pouring my breath into my heart. So beautiful. So beautiful.
Thank you.
So powerful. Thank you. You taught me so much today. And I love that you ended off with the heart breathing, because that was definitely a big key. But I learned a lot of information around the planets and understanding what each planet represents. I've heard of the North Node and South Node, but you really make it clear by understanding what you are and what you need to go towards. And I'm gonna investigate that a little bit more after we hang up. And yeah, and just so much more. So I thank you for showing up as Audrye. You are amazing.
May I give a phone number? Can I give a phone number?
Yes, and I will have it all in the show notes as well too.
Thank you. So folks, you'll know I'm from New York because my number is still the New York number. And even though I'm in Costa Rica, it has a US SIM card. So it's a local call for you. Okay. It is 917-494-0628. 917-494-0628. My website is still needs to be updated. That's up. Okay, it's Audrye Now, AudryeNow.com. AudryeNow.com. Thank you. Thank you so much, Unique. I love doing this with you. Yeah. I love this. And a big hug. This is me hugging you. And all the people here. It's like so many blessings. And no
Yeah.
matter what it may look like on the earth, no matter what it may be, stay centered. That's why loving yourself, doing the heart breathing regularly. If you skip a day, just come back to it. Don't make no, just keep coming back, because we, all of us, individually and collectively, are the power. We are all part of the goddess, God, source, whatever you want to call it, beyond definition of all that is. And we are the power. And we are all we. We're all we. And
Mhm.
so allow that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Leaving everyone with the nuggets. Love it. Love it.